My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. I made it out to the Pisgah National Forest roughly 30 minutes ago. I've been driving out this gravel road looking for a place to stop and camp at, and I have selected my site. What drew me to this site are the cool trees. There's numerous trees standing at these interesting angles. So there's one over here and this one here. All in all, this is a pretty nice site, folks. We don't have that much tree cover, but that's okay. I got that problem solved already. As far as the weather goes today, it is absolutely perfect. In the shade at 3,500 feet in elevation, we're looking at roughly 65 degrees. In the sun, I'm going to estimate 250, something like that. Pretty hot. For this adventure, folks, we are going to do something interesting. This is an Ozark Trail adventure. In other words, a Walmart adventure. Earlier this morning, I went to Walmart and I spent $250. And I purchased nothing but Ozark Trail gear. It has been a very long time since I've taken a look at any of their products. So without a doubt, this should be interesting. Not every piece of gear that I have with me on this trip is from Ozark, but the big important items are. We'll go over all of those products in a minute. The first thing that I want to do is to set up some sun protection. It is hot, it is sunny. I've had skin cancer more times than I can count. I don't want to have it anymore. So let's get a canopy set up real quick. Just like that, folks, we have our canopy set up. Full sun protection for the rest of the day. I'm not sure if you know this or not. If you watch the channel all the time, I'm sure you do, but I've had skin cancer 4 times, and I definitely do not want to have it anymore. Because of that, the name of the game for this trip is to stay out of the sun as much as possible. Anyways, with this canopy here, this was an El Cheapo, around 60 bucks, but it works. I really don't have any complaints about it as of right now. So far, I have the canopy up and the tent is almost done. This is the Ozark Trail A-frame tent. I'm impressed with how much mesh is on this, especially for the price. This was only like 50 bucks, 60 bucks, something like that. I will say that the setup process is annoying, and this is why. This tent comes with 5 poles. With one of those poles, it is slightly smaller, like 1 millimeter difference. When you're holding them, when you're looking at them, you can't tell a difference at all. The problem is, if these poles don't go exactly in the right place, you cannot set up this tent. It took me a little bit of time to figure out which was the small pole because they are almost identical. Luckily, I got it figured out and I didn't waste too much time, but they should have color coded it so people can easily tell the difference between the poles. With this air mattress here, this is supposedly self-inflating. The thing is, it's been rolled up for who knows how long, a year, 2 years, so it's not going to self-inflate for a long time. As it stands right now, I have to say, for the money, I'm impressed. With this tent here, this would be the last thing that you would want to go out in a storm in. But for a camp out with beautiful conditions, it's not bad. That was like 50, 60 bucks. It's large. I went ahead, I put my heater in there, so later on tonight, tomorrow morning, I can fire that up. And of course, I have a ton of ventilation. Speaking of using the heater inside of this tent, later on, we will talk about how to do so safely. I've received a ton of questions, a lot of comments. I am going to address those in this adventure. For now, everyone, I need to go ahead, set up my table, get my chair ready, get the stove ready, and then we are going to make lunch. As it stands right now, it's about 2:40, and I am hungry. If there was a game to find the largest stove possible, I would be champion of the entire universe. This Ozark Trail propane stove is gigantic. This thing is huge. I noticed when I was in the store, this was described on the label as a backpacking stove. Trust me, folks, nobody is backpacking with this monster. Something just came to me, everyone. I know where I've seen this stove before at. There's a YouTube channel. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's this woman who would live out of her vehicle. I don't think she does that anymore. I don't even think she really has a YouTube channel anymore. But anyways, she was at Disney World in Florida and she got raging drunk, went back to her vehicle, and she fired this thing up. I think more for heat than even for cooking, but she fell asleep, knocked it over. It melted the entire side of the driver's seat before she woke up and put it out. I kid you not. It's funny, not funny, but pretty funny, actually. Anyways, for lunch today, everyone, I am having a packet gourmet meal. This is Cajun Ranch chicken salad. Oh yeah. Now with this, you can use hot or cold water. Hot water seems to reconstitute that just a little bit better, so that's what I'm going to do. With this stove here, the box says that it puts out 10,000 BTUs. I can tell you all, that is not true. I would say it's about half of that, if that. That, my friends, is really good. There's just a little bit of heat to it, just enough to make it interesting. This is a whole lot better with this or that or whatever. It is a little bit buggy today. Lots of black flies, but luckily now because of this, they are all gone. I am shocked at how nice of a day it is. Later on tonight, we are supposed to have a dry cold front coming through. That means, well, it's going to get colder, of course, but there's no moisture with it, so no rain, nothing like that. Honestly, I expected today to be more windy, but so far, so good. There's a slight breeze. It feels incredible. I have no complaints. This is the perfect day. I'm sure you all noticed that I took just a little bit of time and I put up a sunshade, a shade wall with this canopy. The angle of the sun right now is putting the shadow of the canopy way over there. That doesn't work. Unfortunately, I didn't see any shade walls at Walmart for this canopy. They may not even have any for this canopy. You should be able to use a Coleman one, but who knows? I do have some of those, but I forgot them at the house. Luckily, I did not forget this tarp. This is making all the difference in the world. I can hang out under here, completely shaded, out of the sun, nice and cool. Life is good. Just like this is good. Look at it. Now respect it. We will not be having a fire tonight, not one on the ground at least. I do have my wire elevated fire pit. We'll burn one of those Duraflame logs tonight. As it stands right now, it is way too dry for a ground fire. We do not have any fire bans in place right now, but that could happen at any time. I'm not going to take any chances. Plus, there's not a lot of firewood around here. Nothing easy to get. The thing is about this forest, and I've mentioned this before, this is the Pisgah National Forest. This area has more copperheads and rattlesnakes than any other, and I have no desire to go tromping off through the woods here. I'll just stay out here in the campsite, safe and sound. This forest is really, really dense, as you can see. Plain and simple, you would not see a rattlesnake or a copperhead. Plus, it's baby rattlesnake and baby copperhead time. So no, I'm not going to mess with that. Sometime back, I was out on a trip and I mentioned copperheads and timber rattlesnakes. After that episode, I had a number of viewers write in asking about the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. They are not here in this part of North Carolina. This is western North Carolina. The eastern diamondback is on the east part of the state. With these Duraflame logs, here's a tip for you all if you want them to burn really, really good from the get-go. The thing is about these logs, they're smooth. Flames do not latch on well to smooth surfaces. So let's change that. Let's make it so that this will ignite easily. You could see here with this log just how smooth this is. So you could take your knife, cut the paper, and start tearing this up a little bit, creating a lot of jagged edges. Now, when we light the sides of this log, those rough edges will ignite very, very easily. After I finished up lunch, I've been walking around camp, just checking things out. Surprisingly enough, this place is clean. I haven't found any dump piles, no needles, all of which I did find in the previous overnight adventure, unfortunately. A few things that I have found go hand in hand with points that I've talked about over the years. One being, when it comes to tents, they should never use corded compression straps because, like I've said a million times, people just leave these on the ground, they lose them. There are, I don't know, a dozen of these just laying on the ground because people, they go to the store, they buy a cheap tent, they come out, set up their tent, and they leave these behind. Something else that I've found is some firewood. For some reason, this campsite has 2 fire pits about 15 feet apart. I'm not sure why that is, but at least with this secondary fire pit, there's actually some firewood here. I will actually burn this tonight because, well, why not? That is some easy to get firewood. With this firewood here, this did not come out of this forest. That is oak. That's the sort of firewood that people purchase from like a gas station or something like that. It's a bundle. As it stands right now, we have about 2 hours of light left. The temperature is starting to drop. The breeze is picking up just a little bit. That dry cold front is coming through and it feels good. Even though today really wasn't that hot, 65 degrees, perfect. I tell you what, everyone, I have some shout outs to do. Let me do those before I forget. Brian, my friend, thank you so much for the Flex Hill air pump. You are appreciated. Diana, thank you so very much for the baby shower invitation. I wish we could attend, but Washington is on the other side of the country. Pedro, he sent in something called the Overnighter. And basically it attaches to your vehicle and creates like a waterproof cover that has a mesh vent on it. That thing is pretty cool. I can't wait to test it out. Thank you so much, my friend. You too are appreciated. Next up, we have my good buddy Theodore. Thank you so much for the Mountain House meals. I really, really, really appreciate it. Speaking of Mountain House meals, this adventure was supposed to be a backpacking trip. But I'll be honest, I've been having so much fun coming out to the Pisgah National Forest over the last month. I just wanted to come back. Susie reminded me that I needed to do an Ozark Trail Company adventure, so here we are. And I have to say, folks, I've been having a blast. Not only is this place incredibly beautiful, but at the same time, it's incredibly interesting. If you haven't seen the previous overnight adventures in the Pisgah National Forest, go back and check those out. They have been bizarre. And I'm talking about people people are weird. I'm not going to go over everything that happened, but let's just leave it at people are really, really strange. If you haven't seen those adventures, make sure to check them out. They are quite good, quite fun. Anyways, that takes us over to the last shout out. This one goes to Joseph. Joseph wrote in and he had some nice things to say. Unfortunately, I accidentally deleted part of what I wrote here, so I don't remember exactly what he said. It was something along the lines of him growing up in Florida. He learned how to camp with his dad, his uncle, and his grandpa, and how I could have taught them all a lot about being in the outdoors, which is incredibly nice. Thank you all so much for writing in, for sharing so much. I do appreciate it. And a special thank you, of course, goes out to you, the viewer. Thank you so much for watching these adventures. Oh yeah. Korean barbecue, white rice, and broccoli. Everyone, this Korean barbecue is incredible. After last week's adventure, it was about 8 o'clock in the morning. I was driving out of here. I came across two guys who had a flat tire, so I pulled over. They didn't need any help, but I just sat there and talked to them a little bit. They were so excited to be in this area because apparently they were Bigfoot hunters. The claims of Bigfoot are nothing new. I've heard those before. The Pisgah National Forest is like 500, 600,000 acres. It's huge. It stretches from like one end of North Carolina down to the other. It seems like every other day someone's making a Bigfoot report and I hear about it. It's quite interesting. No, I've never seen Bigfoot out here. But anyways, when I was talking to those two individuals who had the flat tire, they were asking me questions about monsters and creatures that I've never heard of before. I've never heard of being reported in this area. I actually took some notes on these creatures, and I did so because, folks, I've never heard of them before. I have no idea what they are. So, naturally, we have the reports of Bigfoot. But there's also the Wampus cat. This is a mythic predator that is said to haunt western North Carolina. I've never heard of this before, so this is new to me. It is larger than your typical bobcat or mountain lion, and it has razor-sharp teeth. According to accounts, this creature terrorizes livestock and people, and it has been recorded for over 100 years in this area. The other thing that these people mentioned were the Appalachian folk creatures. I haven't heard of these either, and apparently they are pale, thin, tall beings described as being crawlers. Apparently these creatures walk the forest at nighttime. They will come close into your camp, you will hear footsteps, and then they will take off as soon as you investigate. It is starting to get a little bit windy, folks. It's all higher level, mainly up at the treetops and above. Here in a little bit, I'll turn in for the night and watch a movie. I haven't watched a movie while out camping in a long time. Tonight, I'm watching one of my most favorite movies of all time. It is fantastic. I will tell you all more about it once we get inside of the tent. I went ahead and I reinforced this canopy. I took 16-inch forged steel stakes and hammered them into the ground. This here is not going anywhere. I certainly do not want to pull a Tony on this adventure. I suppose I better explain what that means, just in case you do not know. My buddy Tony with AB Camping, Applebee's Camping, he's a huge Applebee's fan. Anyways, in his previous adventure, his tent went like sailing through the air and landed in a tree. So I don't want to pull a Tony. Without a doubt, I do not want this thing flying away in the middle of the night. I don't want to pull a Tony, in other words. Everyone, it's only 8:23 and I'm beat. It has been a long day, but a fun day. Oh man. I tell you folks, I'm ready to watch a movie. The movie that I have tonight is from 1971. It's an oldie. It is called Duel. This was Steven Spielberg's very first movie. And what's interesting about it is that it was actually a made-for-TV movie that became so popular, they filmed some extra footage so it's long enough to go to the theater, and it absolutely bombed because everybody had already seen it. That is pretty funny. Hopefully you've seen it. If you haven't, you definitely should. It was back when Steven Spielberg was good. It's an excellent movie, and I'm looking forward to watching it. I haven't watched this movie, I don't know, in a really long time. 10 years, 15 years, maybe even longer. I'm gonna watch this movie, go to sleep, and I will see you all in the morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is about 2:30. The cold front is coming through, and it is crazy windy out there. It's also getting cold. Let's fire up the heater. Let's warm up a bit. My viewers oftentimes ask me, how much ventilation do you need inside of your vehicle or inside of your tent? There's no specific formula. We're right at the point with this tent here, there's too much ventilation, too much mesh, it's too open. The tent is warmer, but it's not all that warm. What I need to do is close one of these panels, the side panels. And I think I'll go ahead and close the one that's right next to the heater here. That will increase the temperature of this tent dramatically. That, everyone, is so much better. It is so much warmer in here now. All I had to do was just close up that one panel. While I was outside, I was looking at the trees. It looks like most of the wind is still high up, high level, right at the treetop. If it comes any lower and gets stronger, I'll have to take down the canopy. It is seriously staked in. I doubt it's gonna go anywhere, but Because of that, while I'm resting, I will have to stay vigilant. Sleep with one eye open, in other words. If you want to run a heater inside of your tent, inside of your vehicle, you need two things. Ventilation for one, you need a good CO monitor for two, and a little bit of common sense. Don't seal yourself up inside of your vehicle 100% or inside of your tent 100% with a heater. At the same time, don't have this thing too close to your bedding or to yourself. You don't want to set anything on fire. Oh yeah. Folks, that is an awesome cup of coffee. Current time, about 7 o'clock. Last night, I slept great until I didn't, right? When I had to get up and close this side here, that really woke me up. And after that point, I did not sleep worth it. You know what? As far as the gear goes, I was thinking about this last night. And I was thinking about the best way to describe this stuff or compare it to more expensive options. The best way to do so is to say the quality of this is just good enough to get by. You should look at this as something to keep the bugs out, and that's it. If you can ensure that you're going to go out for a dry trip, the weather is just perfect, you can get away with using gear like this, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. This tent, for an example, did everything that I needed the tent to do. Would I want to use this in a thunderstorm, in a rainstorm? Absolutely not. You should look at this as something to keep the bugs out, and that's it. With the canopy, I noticed yesterday that the top material, it's coming apart. You can actually see the seam coming apart. With the air mattress, that was basically the same as sleeping on the ground. Just a little bit of cushion, just a little. My back is actually quite sore this morning. When it comes to the sleeping bag, I actually like it. It's not bad. Is it good down to 35 degrees Fahrenheit? I doubt it. I was beginning to get cold last night, and that's why I turned on the heater. When it comes to this stove here, the company claims 10,000 BTUs. That's complete nonsense. That's not true. Out of the box, the stove is bent. So when you put your pot on top, your kettle on top, it wants to slide off. At the same time, the pot supports, they don't match up with each other. So when you put your kettle on top, your pan on top, it'll rock back and forth. All of this stuff is low quality. Am I surprised? Should you be surprised? Absolutely not. All of this gear costs less than a sleeping pad. This is where I put my ashes last night, and I poured quite a bit of water on this to make sure that everything is out, and it is. It is so dry out here, I do not want to take any chances. Here comes the sun. It got really windy last night, so when I got out to make changes to the tent, I was glad to see that this was still here. The truth is, with 16-inch forged steel stakes, it would be hard to tear this thing out of the ground. This, everyone, is a very large tent stake. At Starbucks, my friends, they have some sort of muffin that has cream cheese on the inside. They're tasty, but they're expensive. I have no idea what those muffins are called because I never go to Starbucks. Folks, that should not be a big surprise. You all have seen what I drink. It's practically mud. It's gasoline. It's not Starbucks coffee. Anyways, Susie made a version of those muffins, and they are amazing. Homemade, from scratch. If you want the recipe, send us an email and we'll get that to you. That is the best damn thing in the entire world. Yes, it's like eating cake for breakfast, and that's pretty much right. Thank you so much for joining me for this trip. I really do appreciate it. I hope you all have had a good time. If you did, hit the thumbs up. That's a great way to support this channel. Make sure to check out my second YouTube channel, A Quiet Place Adventures. You will find a brand new adventure there every single Monday. If you like, you can become a member of YouTube or on Patreon. That's another great way to support this channel. I do appreciate it. Everybody, take care, be well, strength and honor. Bye for now.